These are the 7 biggest mistakes I see the majority of Firestick users never correct. And number 4, I haven't seen anybody else talk about. No added fluff, just the information you guys need. Subscribe down below. Let's get to number 1. Number 1 is a topic you'll hear everybody talk about, but not necessarily in the way I'm going to. This is clearing your cache. I think most times when you hear clear your cache, you think, yes, do it. Cache is bad, but that's not necessarily true. In fact, cache data are just temporary files from applications that can help them load faster in the future by saving text or pictures. So clearing this can actually slow your applications down, especially on your next few uses. Now you're probably thinking, okay, I'm never clearing my cache again. Well, also don't do that, because cache data can build up over time using quite a bit of storage. So you want to create a time frame that makes sense for you to actually clear this cache data from all your applications, especially with base level Firesticks that only end up with a couple gigabytes of storage. Well, you're going to want to make sure that's cleared from time to time. Now, Firestick actually has a shortcut option to clear cache, or you can go directly into the app and clear it that way. There's also cleaner apps that allow you to clear all your cache data at once. What most users fail to realize is your Firestick never really turns itself off. In fact, this off button on your remote doesn't actually power it off. Instead, it's just in a perpetual always sleep mode, which keeps an active network connection. Being that your device never turns off, that means there are typically a ton of background processes running, and this can really slow down your Firestick. Now, we can easily go into settings, check out each app, and force stop it. And this is basically going to make sure it's not just closed, but not running in the background. However, another thing I suggest for beginner users is unplug your Firestick once a week. This is what I call a full power cycle, and that is just taking that power cord out and leaving it out for at least 5 minutes. This will not only stop those background processes, but you may find your device running faster. Now, I do have an automatic solution for this, and we're going to talk about it, but right after we get to number 3. For this one, we're heading over to my laundry room, where my router setup, all the way up there with all those wires, is located. This one is really just something you should do no matter what in your household, but it definitely greatly affects how your streaming device runs, not just your Firestick. Because if you didn't know, your router should also have a power cycle done probably at least every week, if not every night. This can help solve a number of different things that I'm not going to talk about in this video, but the short answer is internet can run faster once you restart it. Now remember, I said I have a trick that's going to help you do it automatic, and that's this really cheap, affordable smart plug. It's one that I've used in the past, and you can plug your Firestick into it, you can plug your router into it, and set an automatic timer for it to shut off. So for example, 1 in the morning when you're sleeping, maybe your router powers off for 5 minutes. This can be done automatically daily or weekly. If you want to check out the one I use, I've put it down below in the description. Let's get to number 4. So when you first got your device and you're about to power it up, you might have thought to yourself, well, my TV, it has a USB port, so I might as well plug it into there, and that would be a great idea. Except every Firestick, except for the HD version, actually requires 5 volt and 1 amp to stay powered. Well, not necessarily stay powered, but function correctly, because when you plug these other models in, you're going to get this low power message here. And what this means is, although your Firestick might function, you might even be able to stream on it. There is a high risk of it randomly turning off, updates not going through, and other functions just not working properly. So that's where Amazon came in and said, well, what if we create a Firestick, an HD version, that can be powered by the 0.5 volt USB port in the back of your TV? And that is just what they did, introducing the Firestick HD with this slightly thinner design. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, great, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pick one of these up. Well, that would be a great idea, except for this reason right here. Being one of Amazon's newest releases, the Firestick HD actually comes with their brand new operating system, Vega, which in the streaming community is basically the same as saying Voldemort a little too loud. That's because this is Amazon's brand new custom operating system that greatly restricts what you can do with your Firestick. And it accomplishes this in a very Roku-like way, where it's their own operating system, not running off Android, meaning you cannot just load any APK on it. So even if you wanted to start sideloading on it, developers are going to have to create their own custom third-party apps for this operating system. And with Amazon fully in control, it's just not that simple. Basically, I am telling you this at number 5 because you should avoid at all costs the Firestick HD and the Firestick Select, which also means, unfortunately, you cannot power your Firestick through your TV's USB port unless you have one of those. Well, actually just the HD version, but both of those you should stay away from. Now, number 6 is not a requirement, and a lot of you probably already know about it, and that's a VPN. And I want to answer to you really, how does this actually help me with my Firestick? And there's a few different ways. And one thing is, if you're a subscriber, then you know I teach you all different ways that a VPN can actually benefit you as a streamer and just as somebody that values privacy. One of them with your Firestick particular is your internet service provider potentially throttling your internet. They do this for all sorts of reasons. It could be data consumption in your neighborhood, so IP based. It could be, well, we just throttle these kinds of sites or downloads. And the best way to avoid that is by using a VPN, which will then hide your IP address because you're running all your requests through the VPN servers. So all that could not only speed up your device just by installing IPVanish in the App Store and going to the link down below in the description and getting either the yearly or 2-year plan, but also through my channel, I show you how you can ungeo-restrict content and actually get even more out of Netflix or the other government-run free streaming sites all around the world. It's more of a tip or trick, and if you want to support the channel, I keep the link down below, and it gives me a nice little kickback and allows me to make videos like this for free. The last one relates to your Firestick storage, which we briefly touched on when we were talking about cache data. And unfortunately, these devices just straight up do not contain a lot of storage. And what this means is the more apps you're downloading, the more storage you're using up, the more cache data, which eventually you get down to a very low amount, which can trigger a low storage warning. What a lot of people don't know is when storage drops too low, this can actually greatly slow down your device. That's because the operating system actually requires a certain amount of temporary space for either files, or it can even be background processes. Without that, your device is just going to slow down. So you should always go check your About section on My Fire TV and look at your storage. Make sure you have at least a few gigabytes. That can be hard to accomplish, but just go into your apps and delete and uninstall apps that you are not using. If you have to, you can also use a file browser app to get on the root of your Firestick and find any files that have been sitting around, potentially even ones you've downloaded in the past that are just sitting there now. This could even include APKs downloaded through the downloader app. That's all for today. Hopefully you guys learned a thing or two. This was a bit between beginner and I would say intermediary user. If you feel like I missed a tip or trick, let me know down below in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one.